All right, here we go. Welcome to Levels. I'm Jeremy Long, and I am joined, as always, by the Sportsnista, Cassandra Cusino. Cece, how are you as the COVID lockdown starts lifting?
Man, I'm good. It really don't change nothing in my life. We ain't going nowhere. so
We ain't doing nothing.
I ain't doing nothing else. I guess what the governor made some additional liftage or something today. I don't know.
Always got to work on the liftage. Always got to
Sounds
work on it. Yeah. I'm trying to open up my phone here. All the different things we got. Doodads and things.
doodads and things. That sounds
So,
like myself.
yeah, no. Speaking of doodads and things and shows, the only live sports happening so far are going to come from Florida, and that's the UFC 249, which
Yes,
all the
sir.
fighters and managers and everyone else are there. Even some members of the
Awesome.
press are there in Florida, ready for this thing to go down in an arena full of no fans, full of no one. But
No
we had the
fighters.
opportunity to speak with one Michelle Waterson, otherwise known as the karate hottie in the UFC, and
Dang right.
we have a two-part interview. It was supposed to be both of us, and then it was supposed to be video, and then it turned into a phone call, and then you couldn't join the phone call, and so it turned into me doing my very best to attempt to talk to a woman who is cutting weight right now. So I was walking on eggshells the entire time.
She was hungry.
But if you can set this up for us, how did we come to speak to with Michelle there?
Well, Michelle is managed by her husband, Joshua, who also has a fighting pedigree. I believe he was a boxer in the armed forces, has some jiu-jitsu training and all. So he don't play either, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So we've been efforting to get Michelle on the show for quite some time, and we just had a small window today. They didn't have any Wi-Fi in wherever it is that they're held up in this UFC hotel in Florida. And I was like, hey, let's do this by phone, and by hook or crook, we're going to get you in there. And that's what happened.
All right. Yep, that's what happened. And so let's go ahead and jump right into part one with Michelle Waterson. Hi, everyone. Jeremy Long here on Levels, and I am joined right now by UFC strawweight Michelle Waterson. Michelle, I know you're busy, and I know at this time you are cutting weight, so I don't want to ask you how you are doing because I don't want to get punched in the face right now. But I will ask you a whole different scenario with this quarantine and with this lockdown. How was your first, quarantine fight camp, and how was keying in so much different than being at the gym every day?
Yeah, it's quite different, really. You're used to the team camaraderie. You're used to them pushing you, and on certain days when you're having a bad day. But actually, we had an amazing fight camp. We have a pretty good suite set up at the house, and a lot of my teammates were coming over individually to work with me, and so with my coaches, and so I still got really good work in, and it turned out to be quite a nice camp.
You and your opponent Carla Esparza have kind of circled each other for years now, and it's really strange that your paths have never crossed until now. When you see a fighter like Carla, who obviously is a former champion, everything, when you're staring across the cage, what do you see in a fighter like Carla?
I feel like at this point in my career, I've fought the best of the best, and it's only going to be that way, from here on out. The UFC strawweight roster is the most stacked in the female division, in my opinion. So, I'm looking forward to fighting a very tough opponent in Carla. I know what she has to offer, and I know what I bring to the table as well.
Now, I'm guessing on some level you were preparing the entire time, but was it a little, how does it play with your mind a little bit to kind of hear from managers and UFC and all that, like, hey, okay, we're fighting on this date. Oh, no, never mind. We're going to adjust it to this date. How do you stay focused and just keep your mind in on your training when all this is kind of going on around you?
Yeah, it was kind of weird, bouncing back and forth, but that's kind of the name of the game, really. If it's not one obstacle, it's another. my last fight, I was I was training all the way up until the end, not knowing if I was going to fight or not because you know, we're worried about the whole weight issue. So what we did was we made sure we kept training without peaking too soon. So we just continued to train at a pace that was, you know, we were still working and getting good, but not pushing ourselves to the point of burnout.
And how did this fight come to be? Was it something that Dana called and offered, or was this your idea you kind of pitched to him, like, hey, let's go ahead and sort out this mess with Carla Esparza?
Well, anytime I get the opportunity to fight somebody as good as Carla, I'm going to take it. Right. My objective is to get as close to the belts as possible with each fight. And so, you know, when Carla's name opened up, we knew it would be a good fight for us.
Now, I know you got that. You've said in a couple of interviews, you and your husband have built this home gym. You were able to kind of keep the fitness in check. You know, having some sparring partners come in periodically. Who were you able to have stop by, and how did you kind of monitor that situation without, you know, letting sickness get into your household?
You know, we just asked them seriously if, you know, who they'd been around. It was, you know, my husband was one of my main sparring partners, and then my Professor Barata, who's in one of my corners here. And Professor Barata, you know, is a highly respected jiu-jitsu coach out of New Mexico who's been teaching all of his classes over Zoom. Coach Wink had to shut down his gym, so he's been coming down working with us. And then I would say probably like half a dozen of my teammates at the gym who, you know, lost their jobs in the process of all of this happening. So they were just stuck at home. So
totally different. You know, what could you do at that point, right?
Who, you know, lost their jobs in the process of all of this happening.
Oh, there we go. All right. It came to an end. There we go. I thought it would give us a timer or something like that when it was coming back, but no, live streaming. It ends and just hops back into it. So
it's the
and we
virtual
do have
world.
It is, man. It's crazy how that happened. So there you go. I mean, you hear the first little bit from Carla about how she was able to train, how, you know, keeping ready for this when the dates for these UFC events were kind of jumping around and they didn't know where they were going to fight and or even win. So, and, you know, she is ahead of the curve as far as a lot of fighters. She and her husband built out a home gym, but still.
You know why she was able to build out that home gym? Because she's been winning. She's been fighting a lot. You know, she got some wins and stacked her coins.
There you go. Save that money, stack that money. So before we have Chase Corbin join, let's get back to this the ending of this interview with Michelle. Now, now I know you're there and you got the little one at home and everything, like so many of us do. What is the go-to movie of choice? Are you sick of Frozen 2 yet?
You know, she's a little older, so we can enjoy some of the older movies. She really loves the Avengers, so we've been watching the Endgame quite a bit.
Avengers Endgame. Oh man, I love you 3000 right there. Right in the feels, man. In your moments right after your loss to Joanna, I know it was very difficult, but watching it back now, how much more confident and how much more confidence did you gain from those moments in your quest to become that mom champ that you want to be?
Oh, so much confidence, especially knowing that I went 5 rounds with, you know, the girl who held the belt for the longest. And, right. You know, I went away pretty unscathed, you know, a couple of bruises here and there, but I know this is where I belong in the division, and it's only onward and upward for me.
And absolutely. And then, you know, we get to witness that incredibly classic match between Joanna and Wei Li for the belt and everything. And then you come out, you know, with this also a classic fight with Joanna. I mean, how do you feel, I guess, once you get to that point, whoever might be champ, whether it be Joanna or Wei Li, how do you feel your style is going to match up, and how much confidence does that bring?
Oh, you know, with each fight I grow and I evolve, and I have a lot of confidence after watching that fight between those two ladies.
Man, it was an incredible one, and we, the fans, are so lucky to get to see that. Now, you were featured recently with the UFC, this Home with UFC, some of your fitness tips and things like that, and it really kind of stood out to a lot of people. As you're growing in this, I know the number one goal is still, become the champ, but how interested are you in doing more things like that, maybe into fitness and showing different things that you can do? Or would you be interested in something more the lines of like Cain Velasquez and going to maybe WWE in the future?
Teaching and being a part of a community has always been very close to my heart, because it's what got me into martial arts to begin with. And so, even before all this has happened, my husband and I have been working really hard on putting together a fitness app, and it's already out. And we've made it available for everybody to join for free for a month because of everything that's going on. But nice. It's an awesome app. It allows us to all connect. It gives us free workouts of the day every day, and then there's like workout tips and tricks, and then we'll be doing, virtual meetings every month so that I can connect with my community, and it's definitely something that I'm very passionate about.
Now, finally, before we let you go, how is it with you and your husband being working parents and homeschooling at the same time? Is your patience a little tested more teaching geometry or more at the gym? Be honest. We're not judging. We just want to know.
It's definitely a learning curve, and there's a reason why we put trust in our teachers, because they do an amazing job. And I think that, us as parents all need to, take a look at that and really respect what our teachers do for us, and show them some love. It's a hard job, especially with the younger kids, So, I always take my hat off to the teachers whenever I can. But yeah, my daughter's she's a good girl, and, she's going to come out the other end of this pandemic, smarter and a lot more self-reliant and responsible for herself.
Teachers across the board deserve a raise, homeschoolers alike. And tell us how it plays out. Are they lucky in the cage this weekend? How do you see things going down?
I come out the other end with my hand raised, regardless of where it goes. I think my footwork is faster than hers. My punches are more crisp. I have really good MMA wrestling. I've had a majority of my fights by submission wins off my back. So anywhere the fight goes, I'm more than confident.
All right. Well, Michelle, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. We really do appreciate it, and best of luck this weekend. Can't wait to talk to you again.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Well, there you go. Michelle Waterson, giving us that good stuff, man, and you have to hand it to her. And, she, and many thanks to her and her manager, Joshua, for hooking us up there. And we know she's cutting weight, and that's not a fun time for fighters ever to do interviews. And, I've never been a fan of media days that close to weight cutting at the end there, but, because you're asked the same questions over and over and over again, and it's never a whole lot of fun. But takeaways from what Michelle had to say.
Well, I think that if there's any fighter in the strawweight division that was ready for a fight like this, it was definitely Michelle. She has such mental toughness. I remember seeing an Instagram live she did where she was in her cold tub for like 5 minutes. It's like 4 degrees in there, right? I don't know, but it's cold. And she was just talking as calmly as possible. Most people are cussing and trying to get up out of there, but she's just so tough, man. Vegas has her as a live dog for this fight. I tend to agree. Are you surprised that her and Carla haven't fought before now?
I really was surprised that I thought I made a mistake beforehand, and that's why I asked her, because they're in that division. Carla's a former champion, and even, with her rise and everything, I thought I made a mistake somewhere. But looking back, they had a couple of fights, I think, lined up that eventually maybe fell through. The timing was off just a bit, but in the end, we get to see this really fun matchup. both of these ladies, are grappling heavy in their attacks and everything. So I think we'll get to see some good wrestling, some good jiu-jitsu. If Michelle doesn't pull off some of that karate, man, she's got some kicks that'll hurt your liver.
Exactly. Against Joanna, it was pretty evident that there's a bit of a gap between Michelle and I think those top 3 girls, and I would still include Joanna and Whaley in there, and Rose definitely in there. And, Jessica is still in that mix, but there's a bit of a gap. But I will say this, she continues to improve and switch up her game. Yep. So wouldn't be surprised if maybe she was on her feet a little bit more and if she was able to pull off a couple of those takedowns. Yeah,
it's going to be a really, really great fight, along with so many other great fights on UFC 249, including my guy from Beaumont, Texas, Ryan Spann, kicking off the show. Got to give more love to Ryan. He is my guy. In just a minute, we're going to be joined by Chase Corbin, a guy from Philly who grew up on the streets, mean streets, man, throwing hands, throwing bombs on guys, and now he's a businessman. Now he wants to serve you some tasty treats. And so it's going to be a really fun story to talk about. And I believe Chase is joining us, so we're going to add him in just a minute. But before we do, I'm going to show you this cool cover here. He was on the cover of the latest Las Vegas Entrepreneurs magazine. Check this out.
Clean.
Look at that, man.
Look at clean.
My man, dapper. I like that tie too, man. That's you've been talking to Brian Salmon. That's a Brian Salmon. I know that look right there. I know that look right here. So, I think he just stepped away from his phone, so we'll give him just a second.
Yeah.
But before, we've seen limited media coverage. We've seen John Morgan down there and Adam Hill have been down in Jacksonville. And I know your thoughts on kind of
sacrificial lambs.
Sacrificial. Kind of walking them through the process. We saw an Instagram video with Tony Ferguson and a swab all the way up his nose, getting a COVID test and everything.
Dude.
What do you think about these conditions that these ladies and gentlemen are in?
Well, I was on a media call with Tony. I think it was Tuesday. It was Dominic Cruz and Henry Cejudo and Tony and Justin. And Tony and Justin were much more civilized and professional. Whereas, wherever Cejudo is, expect something else to happen on there. But Tony said that he had this was Tuesday, and Tony had taken his COVID-19 test, but Justin had not. He was scheduled for Wednesday, which was yesterday. And I thought it was interesting that they had staggered the test for the fighters, and I didn't hear whether or not they were going to be tested, how soon after the fight they were going to be tested. Another thing that is unclear is how they're going to account for cleaning the octagon in between fights. I've heard that they might be doing it, which they generally do not do. You're going to be slipping and sliding on whatever vile liquids come out of somebody's body, but it seems like they may be making an effort to sop some of that up in between fights.
Well, they have plenty of time. I don't see why not take plenty of time. You get a fight, especially with the main card. You get a fight and then you get 20 minutes of promos and things like that. You have enough time to put a guy in there, clean the mats. We used to do it when we ran shows in Texas, and it allows the time to not only clean, but also for the surface to dry, because these mats aren't like, kitchen floors or anything else. Yeah, it's porous. They're going to, you can put down your bleach and your ammonia and stuff like that and clean it. Now, do the fighters necessarily want to smell bleach every time they hit the canvas? No, but you kind of have to take the good with the bad on this. Yeah,
it will keep you. What did you do? Was it like a spray bottle or like a big hose?
No. The spray bottles with the mixture, and our guys would spray it down and then take the towels and rub it. You had plenty. If we were running live shows and we had plenty of time, the UFC has plenty of time. So I'm sure they're going to put some kind of safety measures in place. And you'll see, usually you have the refs and everyone with gloves on already. So you'll probably see more of that. Almost everybody, without a doubt, they'll probably have masks on and gloves and everything else. So before let's go ahead and jump. Chase Corbin looks like he's running around his building right there. Let's add him into the stream. There he is, Chase Corbin, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey.
What's going on, man?
Oh, y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Y'all can hear me?
Yep. I'm only seeing like from. Are you having?
I can't hear y'all. I was able to hear y'all for a second, but now I can't hear you.
Hello. Are we back? Hello, 1 2. Hello, 1 2. Hello.
Maybe try popping out and popping back in.
I'm gonna leave and come back.
Okay.
It's like, is Mercury in retrograde or something? We've had technical difficulties. Everybody got on pants, I think, so that's fine. We got that going for us.
I mean, you can't tell on that side, but I can see him when he, pops up here in the studio, and I could see him just running around his building. I was like, "What is he doing, man?" I'm gonna give him a minute, But there we go. Now he's back in. Let's see if we can talk to him now. There we go.
Can you hear y'all now?
There we go.
You know, I'm not really tech savvy, so I had a little bit of difficulty, but I was able to hear y'all for a little bit, and then it just cut out. So I'm back now.
You got the Philly flair on, we see.
Oh yeah, that's embedded in me. I got the tattoo.
What?
I got the tattoo.
Oh man, dedicated.
That's when we was leaving. That's when we was losing. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Oh no.
So you're not just a Super Bowl fan, you're a fan for all.
Nah, this been on me for 10 years.
Oh wow.
Oh wow. Yeah, they had some really terrible teams back then too.
Yeah. That's like getting the Browns tatted on you now.
Yeah, man. I got to give you stuff because I'm a Cowboys fan. So, But, I hear you're okay.
Can I end this interview at any time?
Hey, I'm a Giants fan, so we got all the hate that we need.
I really have to end it now. It's nice knowing y'all. Enjoy your life. Stay COVID free.
Come on. Just like a Phillies fan, got to cut out.
See?
Cut out early.
If it was in person, we would have been throwing D batteries.
Listen. Look, I got a bag of oranges for your D batteries. But we do have your boy Aguilar here coming to Las Vegas, so we'll see if he can turn over a new leaf for a new tree or something.
Oh man, I was a little upset about that tree. I wanted to keep that Aguilar. I wanted to keep him. He really improved over the years.
He seemed like a good dude too, so let's see what he can do.
Well, Chase, for those who may not know your story, man, from Philly to Vegas, from boxing to a businessman, give us the shorter version of, a little bit of your background and how you came up.
Oh man, I mean, I'm from West Philly. I was around, I'm gonna say Julian Williams, Danny Garcia, Demetrius Hopkins. That's when that was a lot of the prime Philly fighters. Then I used to actually spar with Demetrius, Julian. I was in the amateurs with Julian. Danny at that time, Danny was like just at the top of his game, golden boy. But I came from Philly. After that, I turned pro. Went to train with Jeff Mayweather here in Vegas. And I was fighting. You know how it is between fights. It's always hard in the beginning. And it started not to make sense to me. And then, I left and went straight to business. My manager at the time, a guy by the name of Jared Weiss, he was actually a multi-millionaire in real estate. And, I had told him after that last fight, like, look, man, you don't have to pay me nothing. I just want to, sit around and just teach me the game. Teach me what you knew. I always knew how to make money. I never knew how to keep it. So, that was like my main goal. And then after that, he just introduced me to a few business ventures, and I took off from there. And now I just try to tell other fighters to do things, be more productive with your money. That's how pretty much it all panned out for me. And not saying that everybody would get that lucky or even be able to retain the knowledge to move forward, but that's how I went from boxing to business. And I'm forever grateful for that because not everybody get that manager that actually has their best interest at heart, especially in a dog sport like that.
Yeah, just like Marshawn Lynch said, you got to watch y'all's chickens. So you was watching your chickens. What do you think about how this basically shutdown of sports is affecting boxers right now? Do you think that it's hitting boxing a little differently than it would like the NBA, for instance?
Oh yeah, actually, I was thinking about that in the weirdest place. I was in a shower and I was thinking about that, and I'm like, damn, they don't. How are they going to survive at the point right now where, like, you get paid by fights? You get paid if you don't have if you're not the Earl Spence, the Terrence Crawfords, the Canelos, the Garcia, Mike Garcia, any Garcia, you could say, you might be struggling. You might be struggling. Um, I think it affected people tremendously. Like, they don't even know how they're going to pay their rent. Most boxers should have a regular job because if like anybody, if you're not an Olympian, you're not getting that much money in the beginning at all. So, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they became Uber drivers, work at Lowe's. I don't know. I haven't really reached out to anybody to ask. From the looks of social media, they seem to be doing okay in the live, and I think that's what's more important to me.
Yeah, that's true, man. And so your ex-manager, you started learning from him, and now let's kind of fast forward a little bit. Now you have some delicious treats you're serving up here in Las Vegas. Tell us, those steps that you took to go from boxing to being an entrepreneur and having your own business, and tell us a little bit about your business.
Okay, I'm gonna say this. Boxing. I didn't look to get rich off of boxing. That was the number one thing. I didn't look to get rich off of it. I think a lot of times fighters go in and they think, oh, I'm gonna make this money. I'm just waiting on this one fight. I'm waiting on this one fight. It was always a plan to say, look, even if I got this amount, I'm gonna do this with that. I wasn't trying to. I didn't know if I would make millions or hundreds of thousands. I didn't know any of that. And it didn't work like that. But I made great money in business. So it started at 12 years old. My mom had bought me a cart and I had sold Italian ice. I didn't like nobody's Italian ice. I either had too much chunks in it. I didn't like shaved ice. It was too much ice was served. So, I wanted to do my own thing where it was like a smooth texture. I pretty much got ice cream texture, but it's no dairy. So it's gluten-free. It's vegan-friendly. I use raw sugar. I also got an assortment of flavors. The thing that I do different than everyone else is that I make it with alcohol as well. So I got alcohol-infused flavors. Yeah. My top flavors are the Hennessy Mango and the Hennessy Lemonade. A lot of people mix those for the women. They like the Moscato Watermelon and the Peach Bellini. And it depends on my demographics. If I'm at a Hispanic event, I know to bring the mangoes, the pina coladas, and the passion fruit, the guava. If I'm at an all-black event, I bring the watermelons, the sour apples, the strawberry lemonades. And if I'm at a Caucasian event, I know they like the blueberry, cherries, and lemons. So I can pretty much cater to everybody.
I thought for sure you were going to say vanilla.
What's funny? What's funny is I had to order a chocolate flavor because that's all my Caucasian customers want. But I keep trying to explain to them I'm the only chocolate in the store, and I literally ordered it this week. It will be here next week. So, I'm trying to cater to everyone. But that's how I got in the business. Like I said, I told him I did Airbnbs first, actually, in real estate. I did a lot of Airbnbs. He had properties just sitting. So I said, let's try something. Let me get one and let's do this, that, and the third. And it just so happened to pan out that I had multiples of them. And, that's how I got income. And I saved my money from there. And I invested in something else. It was like another project with him. And then I received that money. Then I started my own business. I was actually looking to buy a yogurt land. And then I said I didn't have too much leeway in doing what I wanted to do. And that's when I started Philly Freeze Me. And I'm able to do everything that I want to do. I actually got flavors mixing right now. This is actually the Adios.
Oh.
One of my top flavors. Hold up. Did it turn around? Yeah, that's one of my top flavors that sell as well.
Adios. There's a drink called Adios MF. Is that the same kind of? Was that your inspiration?
That's exactly what it is. Except it's in the ice form. So that's what it is. I'm here. I'm usually here at this store from 11 to 9, 855 East 20, Suite 118, 89169. Philly Freeze Me on Instagram, Facebook. check this out. I probably got a flavor that anybody could relate to.
Well, you know, I'm homeschooling a kindergartner and a second grader. So we're going to be out there on Saturday. It's going to be a little field trip. I'm actually on the other side of town from you. So it's a real live field trip that we're going to take.
What side of
I'm here
town?
in Green Valley.
Okay, cool.
So,
You're not too far,
yeah,
though. You're not too
I
far.
already Googled. It's 17 minutes. That's a field trip.
Yeah, that's not far.
But,
No,
We
no.
thought
you know,
about
you
the next
said
location
Moscato.
either.
I'm
I
in
don't even
Okay.
Centennial
drink.
Hills. I'm forever away.
For you and for Evelyn. I don't even drink, but I might check out the Moscato. Because like I
You
said,
know what?
homeschooling.
They are not it's not an intoxicant, actually. Like, you know, you could drink every flavor and not be drunk or intoxicated. You would damn near have to drink a half a gallon
Oh,
to actually
okay.
get that buzz, because I mixed the liquor inside the machine with it. So you know, you got things that kind of diluted, the water sometimes, the sugar. But you can actually taste the alcohol. If
Okay.
people know anything about alcohol don't freeze.
That's
So
true.
it required a lot of chemistry on my behalf to make it freeze to the temperature for the set with the actual Italian ice, the sugars and the flavors and stuff like that. So, you know, I definitely recommend everybody to come down and try it for themselves at some point, and that way they can really get an idea of what it is I do.
I like it. I like it. Now, I stumbled upon a couple of images from Amy Green, the wonderful PR lady out there who's making the world turn. And let me get your opinion on this first image here. Tell me how old you are in this image here.
Oh my God. I had abs, actually. I had abs.
All the
Oh,
abs.
I probably was 23, 24.
whew.
I
All
probably was
right.
24. I know I was in Arizona in that picture, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was in Arizona then. I had abs. I got a gut now.
But it's not from your product. It's not from your own product.
No, that's from poor eating habits. You know, as a boxer, I'm sure y'all know, you know, just cutting weight and dieting for all them years. I picked up 100 pounds the first 4 months I stopped.
Wow, that's impressive. Went up to cruiserweight.
I'm sorry. Somebody called me. But I gained 100 pounds as soon as I stopped. So, you know, I was 260. I got back down. I'm actually 220 now. I'm not trying to fight or nothing. I'm just
Okay, that's
trying
fighting weight.
to lose weight.
That's all right. I got this next photo here. This one right here on the cover of Entrepreneurs, Las Vegas Entrepreneurs. Man, dapper. That's what we're saying. Look at that. You clean up well.
Clean. We were commenting on how well tied
It's
your
not
tie
allowed,
was.
and I can't hear y'all. Hold
Oh,
on.
me.
Oh no.
We were doing good.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
You cut out
Why isn't this
from your phone calls.
Yeah, I don't know.
You're calling about the Hennessy.
You back, man?
I
Hola.
can never hear. I don't know why I can't.
And there he
You
goes.
definitely can't hear now. You definitely can't hear now. But now, Jeremy, I'm gonna check it out though. I was looking at the flavors and let's see. You know what I'm gonna have to do is get some for there and then also pack some to go. Cause it's
You know
fun.
what? You know, and it wouldn't be the first time that we reviewed food and places on the show. So we're gonna have to.
Yeah.
We might have to go live.
I don't know why it's doing that. Every time it clicks me out.
Oh,
There you go.
I can hear you now.
You talking to us? Oh, okay. I was just telling Jeremy that I'm gonna have to get some for there and then also pack some to go. We're looking at your ceiling though, or the top shelf of your syrups.
Oh, yeah.
There we go.
All them flavors.
Yeah.
Just
Have you
trying to
guys?
help you.
I got a question for
All
both
right.
of y'all. Have y'all seen the video of Mike Tyson making a comeback, hitting the mitts at 53 years old? The story behind it is he has been offered $20 million by the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship organization.
Can
to
you hear him or no? Is he talking to me?
Yeah. You can't hear us?
Oh, I don't know what's going on, y'all. I truly apologize. I can't hear you all, but I'm y'all saying y'all can hear me.
Yeah.
I can hear you now.
You can hear us
okay.
now?
I
You
think
might
it's y'all
have a
that's clicking me out now.
Man, do you have your earbuds in or something?
No, I took them out.
I'm trying to figure out if there's a short or something somewhere.
Yeah.
We're at the mercy of
So I can
technology.
hear you now, though.
Trey.
Okay, so I want to show
But
you
I can't
guys
hear
real
Jeremy
quick.
talking. I
You
can
can't
only
hear me?
You.
You
You can hear me?
I can hear you. I can't hear Jeremy.
Oh man,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry
Go ahead,
because I'm
CC.
about to say something foolish. Jeez.
Ask him anything you want to do, CC.
Well, no. What Jeremy was asking is if you had seen the video of Mike Tyson hitting the heavy bag. He has been offered $20 million in the bare knuckle fighting league. Have you seen this?
No.
All right, check it out.
They offered him $20 million. Somebody's offering him $20 million in a bare knuckle fight.
Yes, and then we saw. What's the holdup?
I don't know. Check this out.
Nobody
Stop! KO. Stop! KO. Stop!
Listen, did you see the dude he was holding the mitts? He got up out there like he had to race out real quick.
Yeah, so hold on. Let me make sure I got this correct. Somebody is offering Mike Tyson $20 million for a bare knuckle fight.
Yeah.
And Mike took it.
We don't know yet.
It confirmed, but the offer's been made by bare knuckle.
I mean, shit.
Would you go? Well, I'm saying, would you fight him?
You got right. For $20 million? I don't care win, lose, or draw. Give me mine now. And I'll have the doctor on standby to fix my jaw. I'll go to Dr. Montoya in Colombia, get some new teeth. Yes, I would.
There you go.
Tax free.
We're gonna have to. We got a clip. We're gonna put it up and we're gonna tag Mike and let him know.
Listen, I will fight Mike for $20 million. Matter of fact, I'll fight him right now for $5.
All kinds of guys coming out of the woodwork. Lennox Lewis, so many other former champs.
We still can't hear Jeremy. Is it a button that we can press or no?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine.
I can hear all of you. I can't hear. I guess he can't hear me.
I can hear everybody. Well, hey, before we let you roll out of here, what do you make of boxing coming back, but with fighters in the ring without any fans around them? What do you make of that? And do you think that some guys are going to bite and actually get in there?
I think it's horrible. I think that's horrible. I think it's really horrible. I mean, I think the fans actually make the sport interesting. It's like, sparring at home. I mean, sparring with no fans is like fighting at home with your little brother, your little sister. Like, I think that's horrible. I think, the oohs, the ahs, the clapping, the boos, I think that makes a fight.
Mm-hmm. Even if if that's the only way to get a paycheck right now, do you understand why somebody? Because they're not getting the big guys. Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, they ain't fighting. It's going to be really kind of like some club level guys who the promoters can afford to pay. Because right now they ain't making no money either.
Exactly. I mean, first off, you got to do what you got to do when you take on that responsibility as a fighter. You got to do what you got to do. That's number one. But I know for me, I didn't have fun unless it was fans in there. Mm-hmm. Whether they hated me or liked me, I didn't care. I don't see how it would be interesting. I think the sport has changed tremendously, but I also think it should be an eye opener for fighters now. Like, you're relying on boxing so much that, have a plan B, a plan C. Even Kobe had a plan B after basketball. I'm sorry. LeBron, Drake, like anybody, they always got something after something. It's not just they stuck with that and that's the end of it. So I think it's definitely an eye opener anyway, whether they like it or don't like it. They have to fight to feed their family, but then after they get that check, they need to start thinking about other ways to make money.
Very wise words. Watch y'all's chickens and diversify your income.
Right.
We'll try one more time. Jeremy, you want to say something? See if we can hear you.
Chase, can you hear me?
Say that again about Jeremy.
He absolutely can't hear me, huh?
I'm mad I can't hear him. He seemed like a fun guy.
I am. All right, tell him to plug his business one more
time. The Cowboys. You know, my grandmother is a Cowboy fan. I haven't talked to her in over 20 years. But yeah.
You were lying. The truth ain't in you.
Yeah, you know. I mean, the reality of it is, you know, I probably won't talk to her again, you know, but you know, and the same might apply for Jeremy. The same might apply for him.
Is that what has happened here?
That's what's happening.
But,
well, thank you so much for your time, Chase Corbin. Give me the address again for Philly Freeze Me.
855 East Twain, Suite 118, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89169. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook. I run specials as much as I can. Just come on down. I got flavors. We're doing a Mother's Day special where we're giving away flowers to all the mothers. So I think that'll be interesting on Mother's Day. We'll be open till 6, but normally we are open from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day.
Hey, good luck to you, man. Have a great summer. Y'all stay safe.
Thank you for having me. I would say good luck to the Giants and the Cowboys, but that's not happening. So, you know, stay blessed, y'all. Have fun and keep doing a great show. Take it easy. All right.
Come on, man. Come on. I think he was pretending he couldn't hear me because he knew that Cowboys fan, you know.
You know, but the Giants are now Cowboys by proxy with Jason freaking Garrett.
Yeah, well, I guess. I mean, the Raiders picked up Jason Witten, so you know. And, yeah. Have fun with that Jason Garrett stuff because he is terrible.
Defensive coordinator, nonetheless, dude.
So, another bit of news is that Conor McGregor, your boy is back in the news there, man. He is, well, in fairness, Oscar De La Hoya dropped his name in a podcast episode with CBS Sports, saying that he would fight Conor McGregor, absolutely, but he says it would only be a 2-round fight because he's not going to play with him like Mayweather did. He would come in there to kill McGregor, you know, because he was a finisher in his boxing career, and I do tip my hat to Oscar De La Hoya, but Conor McGregor has said, yeah, let's do it. What do you think, Oscar De La Hoya, Conor McGregor? Would you buy into this?
Listen, since, you know, all the elders of boxing want to come back in and get a taste, why not Oscar? I mean, Oscar in his prime would have definitely been a much more competitive offensive fight with Conor McGregor, but, you know, Oscar been out the ring for a long time, has been had some recreational time, let's say, while he's been away from professional fighting as an athlete. So it'd be a hot mess for him to try to do it right now.
I think Oscar's, 47? I think Oscar's 47 years old.
He's aging 47.
Yeah, he his last fight was in December 2008, if you can believe it, 12 years ago. So
unless you count the verbal sparring he's had with Dana White, you know, if you count that.
I guess. I mean, but you know what? I'll give it to Oscar. I mean, Oscar verbally sparring with Dana White. I mean, you're talking about a Conor McGregor who is one of the best talkers in the business.
Yeah, that could be
so
fun.
I think the press conferences could be fun, which that was kind of the fun of Mayweather and McGregor anyway. I mean, it's always kind of part of McGregor's mystique anyway. The pressers are always, well, a lot of times more fun than the actual fights, but Oscar De La Hoya, you know what? If the money's there, why not?
Listen, why don't they just have him fight Canelo? Put that puppy on the zone, and you know, because what did Canelo fight in his last? What was
Sergey Kovalev?
No, but what was the weight on that?
160? 160 something.
Yeah, Conor be comfortable at 160.
Yeah, but he wouldn't he wouldn't be toyed with like Mayweather toyed with him. He would. I mean, you're talking about a fully offensive fighter and Canelo who would go out there and Even in a MMA fight, I would kind of go, well, he's got a puncher's chance. He's got a puncher's chance, and Canelo is a hard hitter. So I think it would be fun. But I think it's at that point where it's, every couple of years, it start recycling the boxing versus MMA. But it's all about this. If the money's there, if Conor McGregor could make another $100 million off of an Oscar De La Hoya or a Canelo or someone like that, I would do it.
Yep.
I don't know about you, but I would do it. I mean, who cares? It's boxing. It's not a sport that your legacy is based in. Your legacy is MMA, so you got to take that a little more serious, like he does with Khabib and these guys. But if it's boxing, sure, $100 million against Mike Tyson, $20 million against Mike Tyson, sure, I'll take that. Like Chase said, I'll hire somebody to replace my jaw and all that stuff, But then again, that's a whole different thing. So, and your thoughts on Mike Tyson getting that offer? 53 years old, Mike Tyson, maybe going to bare knuckle.
What's funny is, so now you see Evander and Lennox Lewis all kind of, at least being part of the joke on social media. Who knows? Maybe they will come back. I don't know if I want to see Evander back in. But Lennox might. Shannon Briggs, that's another one that's out there. Shannon be ready to go just on the corner somewhere. So
Shannon was trying to fight the YouTubers, wasn't he?
Right.
He was ready to fight anybody.
Yeah.
There you go. So there you go. So that wraps it up for us. Thank you so much to Chase Corbin. Thank you so much to Michelle Waterson. And thank you so much, Cece.
Hey, thank you, man.
Anything else before we go?
Hey, I'm going to be watching 249. It's fight week. And it feels good to say that it's fight week. It's a very strange fight week, but I'm going to figure out how to watch 249.
You can figure out how to watch it. I think a lot of people are going to be figuring out how to watch that.
Figure it out.
Ain't nobody working. Ain't nobody got $64, Dana.
Yeah. I ain't saying nothing. All I said is I'm going to figure it out. Like, it's on ESPN Plus and it's pay-per-view, and I'm going to figure it out.
Well, we'll all figure it out. And then, you know what? We have something to talk about next week.
Woohoo!
Hey, so... All right. For Cassandra Cousineau, I'm Jeremy Long, and this has been Levels. We'll see you next time. Maybe.